The Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association of South Africa is hosting a two-day international virtual conference. This inaugural conference will take place on the 29th and 30th of this month. The conference is aimed at getting authors together to have conversations about their work and role in changing societies. Well, to tell us more about the two-day conference, I'm joined by Fred Khumalo, who is an adjunct professor of African literature in the University of South Africa, or UNISA, and Samkelisiwe Mfupi, who is the national coordinator for Academic and Non-Fictional Authors Association of South Africa. Very good afternoon to you both, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Samkelisiwe, let me start with you. If you can just tell us a bit about this inaugural conference, two-day conference that's taking place, and what makes it unique?
Well, it's unique in a sense that we as an association, our role is to enhance the status and profile of authors in the country. So, I mean, looking back over the years, authors themselves have been held in high regard by the society because they have been the observers as well as the documenters of history with all the whatever that has happened in the past, and they have done that for generations to come. We know that we are reading books from long ago. We have information, there's history that has been recorded for us today as well as the future. So what we want to do is, with the conference, we want to question the relevance as well as question what status do authors hold in the current situation that we have with all the digital platforms that are readily available for people. Are they still looking forward to gaining information from authors? We have always said that authors are content producers in such a way that they document history and they give it and they leave it towards the generations that are coming.
Now, as much as I love reading things online, I actually still prefer the touch and texture of a traditional book, you know, a hard copy book. Now, Fred, just talk to us then about the role of authors and the theme for this conference, power of authors, the role that authors have played not only in history, but in society, in politics, when it comes to issues of health, and just, you know, all of these influential roles that authors play.
Thank you for the question. My career as a writer dates back to the late 80s, at the height of apartheid, during which time I launched myself as a journalist, but also as a writer of fiction and non-fiction. I saw myself, I had no choice but to locate myself within the anti-apartheid struggle, so that I was wielding my pen as a weapon against apartheid. And that's a role that I've continued to play up to the current dispensation. So what role does the writer play? The role, I mean, the writer, be it a fiction writer or a non-fiction writer, holds the mirror back to society. This is what you look like. These are the blemishes. These are the impurities. These are the beauties about you as a society. So that's the role that I see myself playing as a writer. Of course, apartheid is gone, but we are still living with the legacy of that monstrous system that would manifest itself in racism, tribalism, gender-based violence, sexism, and other isms that continue to confront society today. And it is my role as a writer to expose those, to comment upon those, to question those, and to throw them back at society. What is society going to do about these challenges that we are faced with? So that's what we do as writers. We say, we comment, we celebrate, we question.
And how do you deal with some of the challenges that you faced as an author? What are they, just for the benefit of some of our viewers who might be, you know, contemplating becoming authors in future?
The major challenges would be finding space to be published. You might write a beautiful book, but the prevailing publishing industry might think there's no market for that book. So that's a major challenge for up-and-coming writers. Thankfully, there are other platforms these days. People can publish online, but that again needs some kind of expertise and information as to how to go about that. So I'm hoping that this upcoming conference is going to provide that forum through which up-and-coming writers will be guided as to how to get published. Another major challenge facing writers relates to those writers who write in indigenous languages. They continue to be marginalized. A lot of people are writing books in the various languages of this country, but we never get to see them because the booksellers say there's no space for books in isiZulu, Xhosa, Setswana, or whatever languages. So that's a major challenge. Again, the publishing industry, the mainstream publishing industry, is not ready for new writing in our indigenous languages. I'm hoping that we are going to tackle those as well through this upcoming conference.
Well, during this conference, will there be that opportunity for mentorship and discussions like that about assisting upcoming authors with their publishing challenges, teaching them how to, or equipping them rather, to actually be able to publish online successfully?
Well, as an association, ANFASA, over and above the conference itself, we run many other capacity building programs, such as self-publishing, where authors are taken through a process of being taken step by step as to what is the process to self-publish successfully in South Africa. We understand that there's a lot of people who are aspiring to write but finding it difficult to getting published. So those are some of the projects that are on offer at ANFASA, as well as copyright, publishing contracts, workshops where if you do get an opportunity to be published by a publisher in South Africa, there's a guideline where it says these are the things that you need to expect to find in a contract, so that people are informed as authors, so we capacitate them in that manner. But in a conference itself, we want to have a very robust discussion on the status of authors, not only in South Africa but internationally as well. We have invited, and working in partnership with the International Authors Forum, we have the Canada Writers Association, which will form parts of the conference, where we need to look at strengthening and the role of authors, as well as moving forward. We need to be able to make sure that authors have a role that they play, and in the hierarchy of publishing as well, where there's publishers, there's libraries, and there's a whole lot of in the book value chain, where we need to make sure that we maintain the status that has been passed on to us by previous authors that have came before us.
And just in closing, Fred, your words of encouragement to authors out there who might have writer's block currently, or just like are on the verge of just giving up on this authorship as a career.
There's nothing that beats continuous reading and exposure to the written word. I mean, as a full-time writer myself, I do have those moments of self-doubt where I get stuck in a work that I've been working on for some time. What do I do there? I read something totally irrelevant or totally unrelated to what I'm working on. So continuous reading and reading and reading and writing and practicing. That's how you hone your skills as a writer.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and all the best for that conference. That was Fred Khumalo, who is an adjunct professor of African literature at UNISA, and Samkedisiwe Mfupi, who is the national coordinator for ANFASA.